Growth is closer when we have someone that's investing in us and our lives. You said you just need to go ask somebody. I'm trying to put myself in the seat of the listener. So I'll ask this question. What happens if I ask somebody and they say no? Welcome to the Hope in Real Life podcast with Jason Gore. Our team is passionate and committed to bringing you more hope in the everyday, real areas of your life. If this conversation and content is valuable for you, please do us a favor. Like, subscribe, and even share. You never know how valuable it could be to share a little bit of hope with someone else. Let's get the conversation started. Well, welcome to episode 2 here in season 2 of Hope in Real Life, where we have a team of folks that are passionate about bringing hope to the everyday moments of your life. We're here this week to talk about a topic that I know many of our listeners want to learn about, and it's this idea of mentoring. And I'm here with a friend of mine by the name of Kevin Giles. And Kevin, before we introduce you, just a quick word here. You know, we spent some time as a team over the last few months, just thinking through what are the areas in polling our audience, what are the areas where folks want to find a bit more hope in their life. In this area of personal growth and leadership was a consistent topic. And then even this subtopic of mentoring. And so we believe that just by spending some time talking about this conversation, we can help some folks find some hope. And so, Kevin, welcome to the show. Why don't you just tell our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Thanks, Jason. Definitely looking forward to this. Appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah.
It's a great thing you have going here. A little bit about me. Been married for going on 20 years. It'll be 20 years in April to my beautiful bride, Tamara. I have 2 girls, 16 and 13. So we're definitely in those teenage years in high school and middle school right now. Grew up in the Cary area. Been here all my life. Just excited to be here. Been at Hope Community Church now for it's about 12 years or so, 12, 13 years that I've been attending on a regular basis.
Right, which that's kind of the tie. That's how you and I know each other is through Hope. But you just said you have 2 teenage girls in the house at the same time? Okay,
yes.
So you could probably be a mentor for a lot of different people in that area.
I need a lot of mentors in that realm right now, yes.
Kevin, tell us a little bit about what you do professionally. What keeps you busy during the week?
Yep, sure. So I work at a small engineering firm here in Cary. My father started the business in 2003. I joined him in 2010, and we've been very blessed. We've got 23 employees now, so... pretty small firm, but I wear a bunch of hats there, do all different types of things within that firm, from recruiting to financial stuff to business development, marketing, all the different things within that role.
Yeah, cool. Well, we're here to talk about mentoring. I'm sure our listeners would love to hear right out of the gate, you know, why should we be listening to Kevin? So what is it that makes you an expert on mentoring, and what value can you bring us in this conversation?
That's a good question. What might make me the expert is that I'm not an expert. I need help. I don't know a lot of things. I mean, there's a lot of things I need help with that I'm not an expert at, that I need that growth. Over the past maybe 15 years, I've been much more intentional about finding mentors and finding those relationships and trusting people, developing those relationships, and meeting with people that are more experienced, further along the journey, further down the road, that are better than me at things. And just had a whole lot of growth through that. It's been phenomenal. Probably got 24 or so mentors I could think of right now in various aspects of my life that have been very impactful.
So I want to highlight this. I want to make sure we're really clear, because I just asked you what makes you an expert, and you said probably that you're not. But here's the deal. When you look around in the world right now, if somebody were to look at you, Kevin, and I would say, other than the fact that, of course, they'd see you have a phenomenal haircut right out of the gate, they would
It's
see...
a lifestyle, not a hairstyle.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. For those of you who aren't watching on a platform where you can see, we are both very bald. So, but I think folks would look at your life and say, okay, this guy's been married 19, almost 20 years. All right. Healthy marriage, best we can tell. And 2 daughters, right? That, are still living in the home and they're functioning. And you got, I got a teenage daughter at home as well. So I know that has up days and down days, but, and successful in the business world, right? Your life's together, which in the world right now, I mean, that right there is like, that's a win, but yet you're willing to say, I don't know enough. I need to grow. And so I just want to highlight, like, as it relates to finding hope in our lives, there is something to realizing it doesn't matter where we are, we need to be growing.
Right. Yes, it's been a big part of my journey. When I was younger, right out of college, engaged, married, I was young and knew it all, right? I was going to conquer the world. I knew how to do everything on my own. Didn't need any help. And then things started getting really complicated. And it's just, you quickly realize that I need help. I don't know how to do these things. I don't know what's next. I don't know what it's going to look like 5 years from now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As I was spending some time this week thinking through like this actual time together, I ended up making some notes. And what I ended up writing down was hope is always closer when you're growing. All right. Like in life, you know, you're usually either moving forward or you're moving backwards, right?
Yes.
And so if we're looking for a bit more hope in our lives, hope is always closer when you're growing, and then growth is always closer when there's someone who's investing in you.
100%.
And so we just got, man, if we recognize that and if we take that step, then man, the likelihood of moving in the right direction is much higher. Let me ask you this. What is mentoring? What has it looked like for you in your life over the years?
Sure. I mean, I was very blessed to have parents that were great, coaches, teachers, all those things, I guess would be kind of the early mentors in life if you look back on it. A wonderful bride. She's been a good mentor in many aspects. I guess I got much more intentional about it. It was really 2009, 2010 when I was making a big career transition from the boring older, a large corporation working more of the cog in a wheel, and then stepping out to go work with my dad, and just me and him going to be in it together. And it's just a 2-person business, right? It was just a big change for me. And then at the same time, I was getting more plugged in at church, developing my faith much better, developing that relationship with Jesus a lot better, and just had a lot of questions, right? And so finding those mentors became much more important, finding people that are further along that journey. Yeah, and that's just been the biggest part of it, is going out and finding those, being more engaged with people around me, getting plugged into different groups, getting active, meeting people, being more intentional about, hey, this guy I met, he's 5 years ahead of me in this particular area. He's more experienced. He's doing great in this area. I bet he can share some wisdom. I bet he could do that. And just being intentional about meeting with them, getting on a regular basis with them.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing you say, and I want to point this out because you've said the word people, multiple times here. And so some people could think, hey, I need to get a mentor. And so I've got to find this one person, this sage that's down the road in every category, and I got to line up. And it sounds like for you, it's been more of a, hey, in my marriage, I got this level of mentoring. As it relates to business, I got this level of mentoring. As it relates to my spiritual life, which to some of our listeners might not be a thing at all, I'd encourage you probably should engage that side to some degree. But for you, you said it was. So let's get a mentor in that area. How do you identify the different areas that you actually need to find them? And I'm saying not for the listener, like for you personally.
Sure.
Like how have you decided I need to go find that person as a mentor?
It probably comes down to whatever I'm anxious about, whatever I'm nervous about. Looking back in 2009, 2010, it was I'm going to go jump from a 2,000 person organization as a career to a 2-person. And I got to start wearing different hats in this organization. I'm going to be responsible for sales and business development and recruiting and doing some work and kind of financial stuff. And I don't know anything about that stuff. So that finding those things that I was anxious about or struggling with, on my fitness journey, getting more healthy, right? I mean, it's the looking in the mirror, being 40 pounds, 50 pounds overweight, not feeling good, feeling tired, knowing that I need to get better at that, right? Knowing that I need to improve my lifestyle and I need help with it. I need to find somebody that can help coach me along that way. It's finding those areas I'm struggling with. I guess there's some humility built into it, is just being able to realize that I need help in those areas. That's been a big part of it. And then finding those people, I mean, that's a whole nother discussion with getting connected, finding the organizations, where are the people going to be at, right? For me, it's not likely going to happen on Zoom. It's something that I need to be meeting with people on a regular basis, developing those. For me, the best mentors have started kind of as friendships where I get to know them and trust them and enough that I can be vulnerable with them. And then when I start to get to know them better and hear their story and see areas of their life that they're excellent at, that I could use some help in, that's kind of when I've started leaning in.
We are going to take a brief break from our show to let you know about a resource that we are making available to you. If you're looking for a resource on personal development or spiritual enrichment, then you've got to check this out. It's a free tool. Now, free to our listeners.
Free is good.
It was not free for us to create, but free for our listeners, made specifically for anyone who's looking for a bit more hope in their everyday life. Listen to the features: daily devotions, parenting tips, financial resources, marriage insights. There's even a community where you can share prayer requests if you've got things going on in your life, and you can see and know that other people are praying for you. This is going to be available in early January. We'll make sure everybody knows. Stay tuned. Keep looking for it. We'll have it out. But listen, tomorrow can be better than today, and hope is possible, even in real life. Let's get back to the show. I think as I've thought through mentoring over I don't know how long, but even specifically in the last week, I think the temptation could be that we think about mentoring just as that thing that we do when we sit down and have a cup of coffee with somebody, for that 1 hour. Mm-hmm. The reality is, if we have the humility to realize we need to grow, if we want to take action to grow, what I wrote down here was mentoring doesn't just happen in a coffee shop. We can always be watching, listening, learning, asking questions. But then the last thing I wrote down is, we also have to take the step to apply it.
Yes. Yes. That is there would be nothing more frustrating if I was on the other side of the table as a mentor. And when I've been a mentor of somebody else, there's nothing more frustrating than to be coaching somebody, be helping somebody, be there to they can lean on me and helping them make decisions and give some recommendations, give some advice, give some routines that they should be getting into, and then they do nothing. Yeah. Right. So yes, do something. Do what they're asking you to try. Something might be uncomfortable. That's a great thing. Do that uncomfortable thing.
Yeah. And again, and just to stress this, what I'm hearing from you is it doesn't have to be a formal process either. It could be something where you're watching someone from afar, and I'm going to get this wrong, but there's something that somebody's been saying longer than I've been alive. Mm-hmm. A smart person learns from their own mistakes, right? Mm-hmm. But someone with wisdom can actually watch someone else's life and see how they live, and then make decisions in their own life based on what they pick up from others. I think there's probably some other color I could add to that, but at the end of the day,
ton of examples of that in my life. Yes. I mean, even from my fitness journey, just learning to run and run longer and run more and putting more miles on and avoiding injuries and watching people or talking to guys that have run in 2,000 miles, 2,500 miles a year for the past 30 years, right? And knowing what their journey's been looking like and what types of shoes they do. And they alternate shoes every 300 miles, and they have all these routines to help avoid those injuries and avoid problems. Yes, definitely.
Let's do this. So say we've got a listener right now. They're fired up. Okay, I get it. All right, I need to grow. If I'm going to find more hope in my life, that's going to come if I'm growing, and I have a higher likelihood of growing. If I have somebody investing in me, I'm ready to find a mentor. What's the first step they need to take?
You got to go meet people, right? You got to get out there and meet somebody. It's not going to happen sitting on your couch at home. Get plugged in. Find an organization. For me, the initial one was through church, through Hope Community Church, getting plugged in on a small group. One of our current business partners at work was a small group leader for me. And so it was a mentor. Actually, it was more of, for Tamara and I as well, more of a marriage mentor and life mentor early on. So getting plugged in, get into a group environment, meet some people. For me, that's been through church, Hope Community Church, serving, and then also those small groups through work, business networking organizations, through your own organization, finding maybe, I don't know that a boss would be the person you're going to be comfortable getting vulnerable with, but maybe somebody in a different department that's a little further advanced in the career, that's been around longer, that has more experience. It's got to be somebody you're going to be willing to be vulnerable with to an extent. So getting out there, meeting people, finding those different organizations, networking groups. For me, F3 has been a big part of that. It's a men's workout group at its simplest form, but it's an outdoor group of men we're meeting every morning of the week to do a workout, and there's a bunch of great guys in that group. Once you get to know them a little bit better, develop those friendships, see which guys are further along in certain areas of your life that you want to be like. In the business world, CBMC, Christian Businessmen's Connection's been a great one for me. good group of men out there in the business world and living out that life through work. It's been another just way to go meet people, find people, connect with people. And then the second part of that is developing those relationships. It's got to be somebody you like, right? It can't be somebody that's a jerk. It's got to be somebody that you enjoy spending time with. And it needs to be somebody that's better than you at something, right? So whatever that is, if it's marriage, if it's work, even within work, I have a couple mentors that I rely on for like business development, sales type stuff. And some of my role is that. Then I've got others that are more financial experts that I'm looking to. I've got others that are more in that leadership realm of what are we doing on leading an organization. So even within those areas, just finding, I don't know that you're ever going to find the one perfect person, at least not on this planet, at least not here walking with us physically on this planet. But finding somebody that, at least in a couple of areas, is more advanced. And then it doesn't have to be like a weird walk up to somebody you barely know, hey, will you be my mentor, right? For me, it's always been more of, hey, let's go grab coffee together. Let me take you out to coffee. Let's go connect over coffee and have a discussion. And then it just kind of naturally progresses into that more formal mentor type relationship.
Yeah. So you mentioned a couple of resources there, or at least a couple of opportunities in F3 and in the business network. So we'll drop the links to those down in the show notes, how they can find more information on that. The F3 thing, anytime somebody mentions something that involves around fitness, I'm going to jump in on it.
Yeah.
But how do they, can you just say, how do they find the closest F3? If they're like, you know what, I'm fired up, I'm going to go try to connect with some guys tomorrow.
Yes.
Where do they go?
F3nation.com. Okay. Easy website. Started in Charlotte in 2011. It's pretty much all across the U.S. at this point. If you're in a major metro in the Southeast, you have a workout tomorrow morning within a couple minutes from your house.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's free.
It's free. I mean,
it's outdoors. It's free.
It can get cold in the winter.
Yes.
I've been to a couple. I'm not going to cover the name that they've given
me.
Are
you not?
I'm not.
All right.
I'm not going to do that at the moment. All right. So listen, again, hope is closer when you're growing. All right. And growth is closer when we have someone that's investing in us and our lives. You said you just need to go ask somebody. I'm trying to put myself in the seat of the listener. So I'll ask this question. What happens if I ask somebody and they say no?
That's a good question. There's definitely been times I've reached out to people and wanted to get a cup of coffee and kind of, hey, let's connect further. And they, okay, yeah, that sounds great. We'll do that sometime. And can give you that kind of non-committal blow-off answer. Be patient with it. Maybe they're busy. Maybe they don't have time right now. Maybe they've expanded they've spent all their efforts in other areas. Don't be discouraged. Go meet more people. Yeah. Get out there, get involved, meet more people.
Yeah, I think I asked the question so I could answer it as well.
Yeah, smart.
No, I just because I'm sitting here and I'm hearing that, I'm like, man, that could be intimidating. So I just wanted to take a minute and offer some hope and some encouragement and say, hey, you know what? They might say no. That's okay. All right, they're not going to think about it again. You don't have to think about it again. There's other people out there, but it's still worth it. Like having someone say no so that you can find the right yes is worth it. It's worth feeling like, man, I don't know what happened. Is there something wrong with me? It's not a big deal. At the end of the day, your goal is not for everybody to say yes to you. The goal is for you to be able to grow so that you can be at the place in your life where you're going to have the hope that it is that you want to have. So take a chance, go out, meet some people, know the areas in your life where you want to grow, and ask somebody to invest in you.
Yes.
As we get ready to wrap this thing up, I want to ask you one more question. We're going to flip this thing around because, again, hope in real life, I say this regularly, I think most of us have more hope in our lives when we have a purpose. And so someone investing in us, that's great, but that is a bit consuming and it's needed. But how about those of us that might be at a place that we have a little bit to give, but haven't had an opportunity or haven't taken a chance yet at mentoring and investing in other people? What would you say about that?
Yeah, so probably 8-9 years ago, we got a little more formal in our household. My wife and I started mentoring others, specifically in the most formal aspect in marriage groups, marriage programs through Hope, Reengage, and then a pre-married thing we've done recently with engaged couples, which is so much fun. Yeah. Makes me feel young again. So making sure you have time, right? I mean, we're called to love on one another. We're called to be in community, serving others, loving on others, acknowledging that, yes, I need to be here to help other people. And developing those relationships and even looking for it. I think one of my early mentors, it wasn't me inviting him to coffee. It was him inviting me to coffee. I think he saw that I needed some help and I needed some growth. So doing that same thing, finding those people that are struggling a little bit in a certain area that you might have some expertise in that you can lean in and help them. It's very empowering.
Yeah, I think I can say without a doubt, I would not be where I am in life if it weren't for other people that were willing to take the time to invest in me. And I'm at that place in my life where I'm like, I think I might have a little bit to give. I don't have a lot to give. I got more rooms to grow in myself than I have to give. But in those areas, man, like other people around us need to be able to grow and they need to have somebody else come alongside of them. And so I say that just to encourage our listeners. If you're hearing this and you have lived some life, you have gone through some things, man, don't keep that to yourself. There's a world out there that is in desperate need and most likely would love to hear what it is that you have to say, but we got to be willing to invest it in them as well. Okay, a couple questions. This season, I want to just kind of wrap things up with each one of our guests just by throwing some questions out at them that maybe they weren't expecting. Who knows? Maybe it'll end up being the same question every single week, but this is episode 2. And so you didn't hear the questions last week. So hey, let me ask you this. What are you most excited about in your life right now?
Most excited about? This journey of raising these teenage daughters and watching them grow, watching them move into more independence, watching them mature, nervous, excited, all the things together with that. I've got a wonderful partner. My wonderful bride is an excellent mom, and it's great to be with her together to raise this and seeing them over the next couple of years be transitioning out of the house. I assume, hope, maybe. Yeah, we'll see. But this is just an exciting time
Data
of
says
life.
that less and less are moving out.
Right. We might have to move, and they won't have a place to come back to. Yeah.
Okay, last question, which, by the way, I can understand why you'd be excited about that. I have 15-year-old twins and a 12-year-old, and man, it's a handful. It's never ending, but gosh, what a joy it is. 5 years from now to this day, you mentioned in the recent past, switching industries, who knows, but you look out 5 years from now, where do you see Kevin Giles?
That's a good question. I look forward to being an empty nester with my bride. Having the house to ourselves again. Yeah. Right. I very much look forward to that. And we will be hitting that about 5 years from now. Very much excited about that. Excited about, it's going to be a journey, but 5 years from now, I hope to have more capacity as the girls become more and more independent and need us less and less. There'll be less time for me to be investing in them, less time required for me to be spending time with them. So that hopefully will open up a lot more time to invest in others, to be more and more of a mentor to more people, to serve others, to lean in with more time. At work, I love my job. I love what I do. I love where I work. I love the group that we have. Look forward to continued growth there. Little nervous about all the different roles that that's going to involve, and as we continue to grow, and we're 23 now, if we have 50 employees then, it's a little nervous to think about what all that will look like. But yeah, we'll be plugged in at our church. We will be empty nesters. We will be same general career path. At least that's what I hope.
And same great haircut.
Yes, it's for life. It's a lifestyle.
All right. Well, to our listeners, again, hope is closer when you're growing, and growth is closer when there's someone who is investing in you in your life. So do whatever you need to do. Recognize, and we're at a place in life, no matter where we are, where we can always grow, and we're always a bit more closer to hope when we are growing. Take the steps that you need to take. Listen, if this content is valuable for you, of course, like and subscribe. But on a topic like this, I just want to challenge you all as listeners. If you know someone in your life that could benefit from hearing this, take this as an opportunity to share it with them and encourage them to take the steps that they need to take in your life. We will see you guys on the next episode.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for being here, Kevin.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Hope in Real Life podcast. If this content was valuable for you, don't forget, like, subscribe, share. You never know how important it could be to bring a little hope into someone else's life. There's even a place here for you to comment. We would love to hear from you and hear your feedback. Until next time, let's keep sharing hope. Well, hello, Hope in Real Life family. We want to give you an opportunity to celebrate the true meaning of Christmas at one of our family-friendly Christmas Eve services. Now, I know you folks are all over the country here, but online at gethope.tv, we will have our Christmas Eve services at 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. Would love to have you tune in and join. It's a family-friendly affair. Can't wait to see you on Christmas Eve. Having said that, if you are in or around the Triangle, we would like for you to be our very special guest. We have 20 services between December 21st and December 24th across 4 or 5 different locations in and around the Triangle. So to find which location would best serve you, go to gethope.net/Christmas, and that's where you get your they are free tickets, but it just lets you know which service to attend and where there's space. Again, we'll put that in the description, gethope.net/Christmas. We would love to see you in person at one of our services on Christmas Eve. Can't wait to see you. Merry Christmas.